Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C., and today we are talking Brown, as in home of Brown. And unless anything changes, and as we know, life can change at a moment's notice with quarantine life as it is, I believe we only have this video and then 3 more on our first run through the Thrill of the Chase. So we are almost towards the end. We're almost at the end. But today we're talking about Brown, mentions of Brown, shades of Brown, anything that has to do with Brown. Maybe not all of it, but what we can find in the Thrill of the Chase about Brown. And I'll go ahead and say I lean towards Fenn not mentioning Brown in the Thrill of the Chase. I'm leaning towards, and we'll see as we get into May, and I do a secondary analysis and I come up with a more legitimate solve. I lean towards Home of Brown being kind of like it's not mentioned explicitly, and it's actually where a lot of people go wrong because they're thinking that it's like a famous structure, famous people, because it's capitalized. I feel like there's a lot of play there, and I think maybe it's more subtle than that. So, without further ado, page 9. Just as I was about to ask the little girl at the computer about those authors, she raised her coffee cup to take a sip. She raised her coffee cup to take a sip. And I swear that cup all but covered her whole face. So, to me, coffee is brown, and that's a mention of Brown in some way, shape, or form. And it's also interesting that the next sentence talks about that cup all but covered her whole face, which is sort of a perspective. Very close. I don't know how that helps you, but there it is. Page 27. Page 27 talks about the rust. So he says, fortunately, I was the only one in the class who knew that trick. The sliding, I mean. We've already talked about that. And even though that rusty old iron thing marked the tail of my britches pretty good with a heavy brown color, it was worth it. Your effort will be worth the cold. Just saying. It's interesting. I think it's interesting anyway. Page 29. Let me know what you think. Page 29. My father got a Guernsey calf that grew up to be a beautiful fawn-colored animal. Fawn-colored is brown. And we've talked about Homer Brown being, or the cows, loving cows way back in the day. And those themes, love, it's very interesting. Page 32. He says, like most kids my age, I was always hungry, but I didn't like to take a brown bag to school. He doesn't want to take a brown bag to school. Did he put a brown bag? Is that how he carried the treasure chest? Is that how he carried the contents of the treasure chest in a brown bag? I don't think so, but he says brown bag. Usually put a sandwich in a brown bag. You know what I mean? He's talking about lunch. He's talking about other stuff in a brown bag. Home of brown. Cardboard. Paper. You don't know. Page 38. He says down at the bottom, when they came brown out of the oven, she'd put butter and different kinds of homemade jams on each piece and serve them hot. Boy, we always made a big deal out of it. Out of taking a bite and saying, I don't think there's anything there, honestly. I'm just sharing. Could be something there, and I could totally miss it. Page 48. He is talking about what I really hated to wash were the giant kettles used for making brown gravy. The smell truly assaulted my sensitivities, and that's why I don't eat brown gravy anymore. Brown chicken, brown cow. Brown gravy. I don't think it has anything to do with brown gravy, but I think that sticks out to a lot of people because it's on Canyon Street, right? Yes, sir. Page 63. Coffee, brown, coffee, made by boiling pine needles can bring on cardiac arrest. Nothing burger for me. Maybe for you. But for me, nada. Page 70, down at the bottom. I knew my college education had ended, so I hurried back to my barracks, packed my extra shirt and toothbrush in a brown paper sack, left my beautiful cadet uniform folded on my bed, and headed out the back door. Back door. Again, I don't think that's major. I don't know how much brown is, it's when he mentions brown in the book that it really means home of brown, because people seem to be missing home of brown in the 200, 500 foot, 2 clues, 4 clues. It seems to be a sticking point. It's either, in my mind, home of brown is being missed, or it's no place for the meek, give or take. All right, page 110. More coffee. Even our salespeople loved it because they got to loaf for an hour and gossip about me with the teachers while they drank coffee. After all of the students were inside and counted, and I was introduced, the teacher started for the coffee pot in the back room. Back door, back room, Totem Cafe, out the back door, sitting under a tree. It's a lot of back. All right, page 132. Everybody knows what page that is. We're going to get out of here in record time today. Going to be a short one for you Homa Brown folks. Page 132. Put in below the Homa Brown. It's a brown slide. Or something thereof. Page 137, last quote. Bronze is a non-ferrous metal, meaning it won't rust. And rust is where I'm coming from, because rust left a brown color on his breeches. Or deteriorate in any way. So, I'm going to end there. It's going to be a short one today. And I just, the home of Brown, I think, is a really interesting one because I think so many people, because Brown is capitalized, are thinking that it's something famous, that it's something they can find, whether it's a person's name, whether it's brown trout, whether it's whatever, what have you. And for whatever reason, because nobody's found the treasure chest at this point, I just tend to disagree with the with the way the multitudes of people are going. I don't have any reason to do that other than the average person thinks that Brown is something major, and that's sort of the way that's the way everybody's going. And Forrest said we have to think something different because people are missing it. And so I'm trying to think of something different. So I know I'm going out on a limb on this video saying I don't really think it's anything major. And we'll just see, I mean, as always, I can't wait for, to find out where the treasure chest was hidden and to find out what the correct solve was. I think it'll be fascinating to know who was thinking the right thoughts and how, and were they saying anything on the forums or in YouTube or anything. I mean, I hope something that I say is somewhat close and helps somebody. I do. Whether I think it is right or not, I mean, at this point, nobody knows. So Forrest knows. Nobody but Forrest. How about that? But, I enjoyed all the same, and I really appreciate everybody watching, liking, subscribing. If you would, I know that a lot of people that watch these videos aren't subscribed. So I try not to put it and beat everybody over the head at the beginning of it, but if you're watching my videos, over and over and over, and you like the content, if you just take 2 seconds and just hit the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. I mean, it's just, takes a couple seconds, doesn't mean a whole lot to you. It's just some time, and you just hit subscribe. And, I mean, if you like my content so much that you want to be reminded, you can hit the little bell for a reminder. But if you're just kind of a nonchalant searcher of the internet and you like Forrest Fenn content and you don't really want to be notified and bothered and emailed and stuff, don't hit the bell. But it would really be much appreciated if you'd hit the subscribe button. And and then I could just keep growing my channel and you can keep getting great content. So thanks so much for watching this episode of the House Husband Diaries. Here in the next couple of days, or maybe I'll already have put some political videos back up, or some travel videos back up. I try to give everybody a break for a couple weeks of some other topics, but just kind of focus on Fenn for a little bit while we're all quarantined. But I'm getting kind of antsy. There's been some crazy stuff in the news in the past week or so, and it's stuff that I'm interested in, and this is the House Husband Diaries, and so I just want to be true to me and share a lot of what I'm interested in, and Forrest Fenn is a part of it. The thrill of the chase is a part of it, but there's also a lot more. So as always, thanks so much for watching this episode of the House Husband Diaries. Until next episode, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you then.